All right, welcome back to another edition of New York Sports Rapid Rundown, your favorite digital show where we discuss the three hottest topics in these New York sports streets. As we tip off November, the streets are buzzing with sports talk as the baseball season is over and our attention shifts to football, basketball, and hockey. So let's get November started right. We're going to do it with a guest who's an Emmy-Award winning TV host with TNT Sports. You also see him with Bleacher Report and doing great voiceover work with NBA.com. My guy, representing Queens to the fullest, Jeff Johnson. What's up, Jeff? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing well, man. I can't complain. How you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. This is such a, well, look, I won't say even this time, these last couple of months.
Yeah.
As you know this as a New Yorker, it has been busy with New York sports. You've been busy. I've been busy. Everybody covering New York sports has been busy. How have you been handling it all?
Yeah, I forgot how stressful it was having New York sports all over the postseason scene, but it's also been electric. I love when the city is infused with the excitement of postseason sports. Shout out to the Liberty.
Yes.
That earned their first world title, whether y'all like it or not. The New York Liberty are your WNBA champions. I love that. Yankees, of course, had their run, and the Mets, too. It was good to feel that again in the city.
Yeah, it really was, especially around this time of year, right?
Yeah.
You haven't felt that necessarily that way. Yes, shout out to the Liberty, as we did last week, for winning their first title. So, Jeff, plenty to get into this week, including the New York football teams. They are looking to stay alive in November. We'll see if they can do that. The Knicks, they're off to a pretty good start on their 4-game road trip. But first, we got to start with talking about the New York Yankees. Now, here we go. Are you a Yankees fan? I got to double check on that.
I'm like a baseball agnostic. Like, I represent the Mets because they're from Queens, but I don't root against New York.
Gotcha.
Unless they play each other, then I got to choose a side. But especially with New York versus L.A., you gotta choose your side, man.
Yeah.
The hate can't be that extreme that you root for a team that left New York to go to L.A.
Oh,
they transplanted on us.
Look at you throwing all the shade.
I mean, hey, you know, love to Jackie Robinson, but that's where it ends, man. That's where it ends.
I like that. I can rock with that. And listen, as a Brooklynite, I they left. They left. That's it. But we're here to talk about the Bronx Bombers. Now, they left. Their fans disappointed after they came up short in the Fall Classic, Jeff. They fell to the Dodgers in 5 games, including blowing a 5-run lead in Game 5 at the stadium. So, Jeff, real simple question for me here. Why were the Yankees unable to get it done in 2024 and capture their 28th World Series title? Why did it not happen for the Yankees this year?
Well, apparently the Dodgers knew what the reason was why they wouldn't get it done. It's because they said it was talent over fundamentals, that eventually the Yankees were going to beat themselves. Shout out to my guy, Sean with a W, who said the Yankees run the bases like they're drunk. That was a microcosm of the entire problem with the Yankees. Yeah, they were getting by with their talent alone. They were the best team in the AL, but eventually it was going to come back to bite them, and especially against a Dodgers team where it feels like you got to score at least 6 runs to be considered in the running to win the game. They blew 2 Garrett Cole gems in this series alone. I won't even talk about Big Christmas, who almost sent them home once in Cleveland and almost extended that series, right? This is the problem that you have with the Yankees, especially with Aaron Judge, who is the putative MVP of the AL, but 9 for 49, 20 strikeouts in this postseason. Imagine if MVP Aaron Judge showed up consistently in the postseason, we might be talking about a different outcome. But with the Yankees, that 5th inning in Game 5 broke all their momentum. They jumped out to an early 5-zip lead. I think if they keep that game distanced with the scoring and they win it, then you could start talking about history. The thing about coming back from down 0-3, you need a lot of things to happen for them to win. And you can't beat yourself. You can't beat yourself with errors. You can't beat yourself with bad base running. You can't beat yourself with not covering first base on a routine ground ball. Life will come at you fast, and it happened to them. That's why the Dodgers were able to celebrate in the Bronx.
Yeah, that is really what happened. I mean, you broke it down. They did not do the simple things. They did not do the fundamental things they needed to do in the series, whether it was running the bases, whether it was just catching a fly ball, whether it was covering a base. Felt like everything that could have gone wrong in Game 5 went wrong. And you're right. They blew 2 Garrett Cole gems, and that's going to burn a lot of Yankee fans. But Aaron Judge also has to be better in the postseason, like you said, too. So now that it's the offseason, Jeff, all the attention is going to turn to who's going to be the top free agent in the market. That is Yankees outfielder Juan Soto. Now, he's reportedly eyeing a historic $700 million contract. And look, he's going to have a lot of suitors here, including the New York Mets. So will Juan Soto stay in pinstripes? Will he move to Flushing? Or do you still see him going elsewhere? Does he leave New York for good? What do you think happens with Juan Soto here in free agency?
Well, Dex, if I had that answer, then I would probably be getting $700 million
Probably
too.
more.
Probably a lot more if I could prognosticate like that. But here's the thing. It depends on what really matters to him. If it's about the money for real, then the highest bidder wins, which means he might end up in Flushing because it seems like Steve Cohen has the deepest pockets and he's willing to spend for his childhood team to get the best players that they can get. If it's about personnel, you got to ask yourself, what did this postseason run do to his perception of the Yankees and where they can go going forward? Me and a few other friends were having conversations about this, talking about it like workplaces. If you have one workplace that has a history of excellence, but the coworkers stink, are you really going to want to work there? As opposed to a startup or somebody who may not have the history, but they have the right personnel. You know, people stay in jobs because they love the people that they work with. And you also know if it's a team effort, if you want to win awards and stuff like that, you have to have a fantastic team beside you. So he has to reevaluate everything that went on in the season, everything that happened in the postseason, and ask, like, if I stay here, what would be the best for me? If it was about World Series, he might still be a national to this day, right? So I don't know what matters to him the most, but I feel like if it's money, then it's the highest bidder. If it's the best chance to win, I've been hearing rumors that the Dodgers might throw their hat into the ring because Shohei took the deferred deal. Like he's working for minimum wage for the Dodgers right now and getting his money when he gets it. So they have enough of money in the bank for them to spend, right? So you got to ask yourself, what does it matter? I think if it's about the money, then he's going to go to the highest bidder. If it goes to a chance to win, maybe he waits out and sees what the Yankees do with their personnel to see if he really wants to stay, because he's going to be the biggest domino, literally and figuratively, that falls in free agency. Once he goes, then everybody knows how they can spend. So he's a major budget item that needs to be rectified soon. And I wish I knew, but I just don't get a sense of what really matters to him for him to stay or for him to go.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I do think the Dodgers point is interesting. Somebody brought that up to me that I was talking to the other day, and I was like, oh, man.
If
he goes to the Dodgers, a lot of people are going to be mad. Really, they're going to be really mad about that. Like, Yankee fans are going to be mad. Mets fans are going to be salty. A lot of people are going to be salty because it would feel like the rich are getting richer.
Exactly.
Here. But you also have to credit the Dodgers for putting good players together and winning. And if he wants to take the deferred money, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Take the deferred money, then I don't know what you can do.
And you got a lot of Yankees fans that are going to be salty because they said that used to be us. The Dodgers used to be us.
But you're right, and I think that's a great point about the Yankees fans, because the Yankees fans, I don't know how they feel about their team. I don't know, and this is something I'm sure I'll get more into the offseason. I'm not sure how bad the ownership wants it. Do you want it that bad to go and pay $700 million to Juan Soto to get him? Because that might be the cost to get him, Jeff.
Yeah.
That might be the cost. Yankee fans used to your point, have the confidence of like, well, I know our owner wants it that bad.
Right.
He's going to go and get it. Now Yankee fans are like, oh, I don't know. We might have to allocate our money differently.
I don't know. It sounds like the ownership is trying to be financially conscious right now, and they're trying to balance their budgets and looking under the couch and through the couch cushions for extra change and whatnot. Now all of a sudden they're worrying about their savings account and their investments in their stocks. They're saying the rent is too high and they don't know if they can afford Juan Soto, and the fans don't want to hear it because those same fans are willing to pay the exorbitant prices of tickets and concessions and all of that as long as they get winners. What was it, since 2009, the last time the Yankees made a World Series? Last decade was the first decade ever in the history of MLB that the Yankees did not make at least a World Series. So at this point, you want results. And your fans want you to invest in the team the same way they're investing all that time, or else don't waste their time. So they haven't shown that they can invest their money elsewhere and win. You got this guy. Y'all got to the World Series. Now it's time to put up or shut up. And they don't want to hear you calling broke. They don't want to hear no owners calling broke when it's time to put a competitive team together, So
I agree. I don't think any Yankee fan wants to hear that at all. We'll see how it all plays out with the Yankees, if they can bring back Juan Soto and how they can bounce back for 2025. Okay, we go from the diamond. We are now going to the hardwood, where the New York Knicks, their offense, they put points on the boards the last couple of games. The team started their 4-game road trip with a win in Miami. Then they had a blowout victory over the Pistons. What have you made of the team's offensive growth since the start of the season, right? We saw that game 1 blowout loss, the Boston 3 party.
Right.
We saw all that. But it feels like there's been some growth in the offense where fans had some concerns. What have you made of what you've seen of the Knicks offense thus far?
Yeah, it's because they're starting to actually learn each other, learn the system, and they learn how to play together. These are guys that this is the first time this starting 5 has been together. A lot of the other teams that you've seen them face so far, they have a measure of continuity because they've been together for seasons. This is the first time these guys got together. The advantage of having guys like Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns join your team is they have a high enough basketball IQ that you could imagine these 5 guys not knowing each other, being at a pickup game, and automatically running plays as if they've been playing on the same team for years. And they've been getting into a measure of familiarity with themselves. Over the last 2 games, 61 assists, 18 turnovers. I think this is the first time in a while where they've had less than 10 turnovers in back-to-back games. That shows that they're sharing the ball more. They're passing. They're looking for the open man. They have also bossed up on the defensive end. Over the last 3 games, you got OG Anunoby with 7 steals and a block. Mikal Bridges with like 6 steals and a block. Like they have lived up to their Wingstop name, and they're starting to gel together. I think that's what they needed. They needed time, and we see that it's exponentially getting more and more comfortable with each other, running their plays. These are players who also have to learn where they like the ball, where they like their hot spots on the court. How are they going to run offense? How are they going to take advantage of what the defenses give them? And I think the Pistons caught them in the wrong place, in the wrong time, for where they were able to execute and show fans a glimpse of what it looks like when they hit that S-tier level of offense. I think for the first time, probably since I've been a Knicks fan, we get to see the beautiful game of offense played by the New York Knickerbockers. This is the first time, Dex, since 1989, that all 5 starters have scored double digits in 4 straight games. That's nuts. You think about it, that's nuts. Because for all the people who say Josh Hart don't shoot, he's at least getting to double digits. He would have been the one that would have crushed that parlay for you if you thought about who is it going to score double digits. But this shows that everybody's getting theirs, and they're figuring out how they're able to score, whether they're together as a unit or they're running with the second and third units on the team.
And not you specifically, but I think Knicks fans had to think that this was going to get better. Yeah. This was not going to be what you saw in the first game.
It's 4 games.
This was going to take some time. Even now, still say it's only 5 games, right? Like, There's still a higher level to this. Now, it looked really good against Detroit, and I understand Detroit is Detroit, and they beat them 16 times in a row. But this is starting to look good. I think it's a glimpse of not just offense, but what you can see them do on the defensive side.
Exactly.
And that's what's really impressive. Now, somebody I think who's been impressive in the short term as of late, Karl-Anthony Towns, back-to-back games over 20 points. He had that 44-piece against the Heat earlier this week. What do you make of Bodega's Cat's play through the first 5 games of the season? Because he was the guy, he's the newest, the last addition piece that you wanted to see get adjusted. What have you made of his play thus far?
Oh, y'all lied to me. Y'all told me this man was soft. Y'all told me he stunk. You told me that he wasn't the superstar player, #1 draft pick in the same draft that the Knicks drafted Kristaps Porzingis, right? Y'all told me all this stuff, and being able to watch him close up, I don't know if the truth is somewhere in the middle, but I feel like it's more center-right in favor of Cat being an awesome offensive talent. Right now, he is averaging 22 points and 11 rebounds on 55% from the field goal, 65% from 3, and 92% from the foul free throw line. Like, this is the type of play that you get from a superstar player, #1 draft pick, somebody who was the focal point of their teams in Minnesota before the rise of Ant-Man, right? this is the guy that you traded for. This is the wildest dream that you had for an offense. This is why it's not blasphemy to say that he is the most skilled 5 that Knicks fans have seen play for their team since Patrick Ewing.
Oh, yeah.
He makes offense look effortless, and I think he's just scratching the surface of his playmaking ability. We go back to Detroit, who I'll shoot them a little bit of bail. They've been playing feisty throughout the first half of this season. They low-key could have been 3-2 before they faced the Knicks. They blew a game against Indiana, blew a game against Boston where they were leading for most of it. So I expected this to be another fight. I didn't expect the Knicks to wake up and choose violence and show their whole repertoire of skills against the Pistons. At one point, I was like, man, is this a simulation or is this actually a basketball game? But this is where they finally realized, hey, we can take full advantage of a team if we just run our offense, get familiar, and play without hesitation. And that's what Karl-Anthony Towns has been doing. He's been playing big. He's been playing tough. There's a little bit of things that they have to clean up defensively, but he's shown flashes that if he goes on this trajectory, I don't think it's unreal to say that he could be All-NBA, All-Star, and return to that form that he had. I mean, I think he was an All-Star last year. I think he can capture that in the East and make a good run at All-NBA and maybe even a fringe MVP candidate. Like, this is the type of offensive output that we're seeing from him right now, and I know Knicks fans are pleased with the results of this trade after 5 games.
Yeah, only 5 games, still a long way to go, still more to see, but I think what you've seen from him thus far has to be pretty impressive. Yes, those 3-point numbers that you just mentioned, that will come down. He's not going to shoot 60.
Oh, yeah, no. It's ridiculous. That's why you could always, after 5 games, you could get super irrational with it, but if he even gets close to over his average for 3, because, you know, there's been talk about the volume of 3-point shooting, right? That's going to increase. And yes, it's going to come a little bit down to earth, but he shoots 40% or more.
Oh, you're happy with that.
Watch out.
You're happy with that, and that's dangerous. The other thing I think fans should note, and we saw this against the Pistons, was assist numbers. 7 assists, dropped 7 dimes in that game. Yeah. That was pretty impressive.
3 short of a triple-double.
3 short of a triple-double. So Bodega Cat, his start in New York, is looking pretty good, man. And as you said, there's a ceiling to this. I don't know what that is, but it could be a lot better than what we're seeing now. Maybe it's all NBA. Maybe it's a fringe MVP candidate. Sky's the limit. We'll see with the Knicks. Right now, 3-2, not too bad. 2-0 on this 4-game road trip. We will see how things play out for the Knickerbockers. All right, here we go, Jeff. We are going to take it to the gridiron. We're going to talk about these New York football teams. We are going to start with the Jets. The Jets, folks, kept their season alive on Thursday night. They got a home victory over the Texans. Or did they keep their season alive? I'm not really quite sure if they did or not. The Jets are now 3-6. They were not good. We can be honest about this. They were not good through the first half of the season. So, Jeff, do you believe Gang Green can turn things around in the second half and make the postseason? Because there are Jets fans out there. They are believing. They are worshiping at the church of Aaron Rodgers. They are saying this is going to happen. What do you say about the Jets? Is there a turnaround?
Well, if they're worshiping at the church of Aaron Rodgers, I'm surprised they didn't lose their religion yet. But they're coming back. They're coming back to Aaron right now, right? I think it's more probable than folks will think. But I looked at their schedule, right? They still got to face the NFC West. Cardinals away, Seattle at home, and I believe the Rams at home. All of those teams are like 500 right now, and it's a dogfight for the NFC South because of the injuries to the 49ers, but they're still solid enough teams to where you could call those a coin flip. Of course, they have Jacksonville on their schedule, which if you don't beat Jacksonville, you don't deserve to make the playoffs anyway. I think their first test is going to be this run with Arizona, the Colts, and the Seahawks. You get there, you sweep those 3, then you got to match with Miami in Miami. You got to throw out the records when you have to face your divisional rival. Tua is back. We don't know how they would look. Before, I would say, hey, you could probably make even more of a run, but that's going to be one of their major challenges. You still got to see Buffalo. You got to see Miami at the end of the season. When I'm looking at their schedule, I say it's probable. I don't know if it's possible. If they don't make the playoffs, I will say I do think they're going to kick themselves for losing to that game to the Patriots. That game to the Patriots could have gave them enough cushion to lose 1 or 2 more games and still make it in. they sweep now, they'd be 11-6, I believe, if they run the table. That extra game, that extra game is going to help them a lot because if they have to be like 10-7, 11-6, if you tell me 10-7 can make the postseason, they would have to go what, 8-1? I wouldn't bet on it, but I do think the way their schedule is filling out now, they have no room for error. But it is more probable than I thought it would be before I looked at their schedule.
Yeah, they really don't have much room for error here. I guess the thing is, okay, you can get excited about what you saw against the Texans. You can get excited about the catch that we saw from Garrett Wilson and all that. But I will say the probability, you saying it being probable, would increase if they win more. I got to see it against Arizona.
Yeah, in Arizona, too.
In Week 10, we will see. They got to continuously show us they can win. I'm not sure they're that much different than we saw from Week 8 to Week 9.
They have one more game against the Bills. That has to be the one that you chalk up and say, we'll give that one up. They can't lose to anyone else. I think if they do, that's it. Like, if they lose to anyone else before they face the Bills, then the Bills is a must-win.
That's a tough
is every game? I think every game is a must-win at this point.
I think you have to look at it like
they're on the bubble. Every game is a playoff game from this point forward. Yeah. That's how they have to look at it.
That is the situation for the New York Jets. Okay, let's go over to your 2-6.
Do we have to?
New York Giants. I have to. It's your team, man.
This is the rapid rundown. Let's make it as rapid as possible.
Oh, you want to make this as rapid as possible? Jeff is like, I'll give all the time to talk about the Jets. My Giants? Right. Nah, I'm not going to do that.
At least they got hope, man. Shoot.
The Jets have hope. You saying no hope for the Giants?
Go. You do your rundown, man. Do your rundown. I don't want to step on your rundown. Go ahead. We'll talk about it.
You are not stepping on the rundown. But I'm going to give some love to your Giants, right? Because they're 2-6. I know you're not happy about that. But they got a big game on Sunday against, I don't think you or I would have predicted this, the 6-2 Commanders. Now, Giants fans, you know this. The offense, they've continued to struggle the past few weeks. They have not been able to score at home. What do you, Jeff, what do you want to see from this Big Blue squad, not only just against Washington? What do you want to see from them over the final 9 games of the season that might, and I'm going to use the H word here, might give you some hope? What do you need to see from the Giants?
Can they tank for Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey? I mean, at this point, I don't know. Is it Shedeur Sanders? Can we take for Shedeur Sanders? I don't know, man. I want to see Malik Neighbors develop. He seems like somebody who could be another superstar. I just hope that they don't waste his talent like they wasted Odell Beckham Jr. That's what I'm hoping right now. But over these final 9 games, if I'm as a Giants fan, I would just say, please don't embarrass me. Like, if you're going to lose valiantly, just don't embarrass me. I know that's asking too much, Des. I know that's asking too much because they haven't seemed to follow that edict ever since I asked them at the beginning of the season. All I just asked is don't embarrass me. They can't even score. Like, you're going to put us through this another lost season. I've been waiting for football to come home like the English soccer fans since the last Super Bowl. I've been waiting for football to come back home. Football went to go buy milk, and football ain't seen me again. I see football on the street. I see football on your show, but I don't see football in the trophy room, right? I don't know what's going to happen with them, and I really wonder what fans want to see, because at this point, do you say, hey, we should look towards the future? Should we look towards the draft? Or is there a chance? Once I saw the Commanders go on their run, I remember in early October, I said, oh, the Commanders are going to win the NFC East. And people say, oh, you're crazy. I think Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the division right now, bar none. And I know who else is in the division. Right now, this season, he's the best quarterback over the past 8 games. And Washington doesn't look like they're slowing down. There hasn't been a repeat NFC East champion in a whole long time. I don't know the exact years, but I know it's at least like 7-8 years there hasn't been a repeat champion, probably even longer than that. So it would make sense for Washington to sneak up there and grab the NFC East and take it with commanding form. As a Giants fan, I want to see some type of progress. I want to see the defense step up. I want to see Malik Neighbors develop. I want to see some more young talent develop, and then figure this out, please, in the offseason, because I would love to see them win again. I'd love to see them win again.
Well, the figuring it out, right, a lot of that has to do with what you make of Daniel Jones, what the organization makes of Daniel Jones, and how that is going forward. Because, and there's a lot of talk. I don't know how much you can blame on him. Some people do. Some people say, look, he's had no offensive line. Has had a lot of weapons. I don't know, but time's running out. I can say that much. Time is running out.
He don't have a lot, but he also don't have a lot of time.
Right.
He didn't have a lot of resources, but he also doesn't have a lot of time. I can understand the logical, rational explanations for looking at Daniel Jones' productivity holistically throughout his career. Do I think there's something there? I think there's something. But the something that's there isn't enough to carry your team from mediocre to good, or from good to great, or from great to excellent. If he had an infrastructure around him, maybe we might see different production. So, perfect example. If you put, funny enough, there was like rumors before the Giants figured out his contract situation, you put him on the Falcons now. Do the Falcons have the same record? Are they better? You put him on a team like the Cowboys as they were currently constructed. Do you think that they make the strides that do you think he'd have a better record now? I'm just thinking of teams that have a insert quarterback here set up right now. The LA Rams, the Chargers, even like the Seahawks. Would he be a better player? Would he have a better record now if he had an O-line and had a couple of weapons? I guess we'll never know, because I've been waiting for an offensive line for like decades to be solidified for this team too. So you have to evaluate the talent as it is and say, okay, do you think this guy can carry a team or be transcendent enough that he can be the reason why you win games, not be the reason why you don't lose games? Those are the questions that I ask myself. And right now, I don't have those answers, but I feel more pessimistic about them than I did before. Like at this point, I want them to take a flyer on someone. I would have loved them to draft Jaden Daniels, because you want hope. Somebody with the talent and enough talent where you say, if this develops, this could be a star. I don't know if you're saying that about Daniel Jones. Like it's like game managing versus game winning. No, and at this point, Giants fans want a game winning quarterback. At least at the very, you talk about the hopium.
Yeah.
At the very least, somebody who has skill, enough skill where you can see it and say, oh, they're a player. This person's a player. This is somebody worth building around. I don't think you can say that about Daniel Jones.
And that's the tough thing right now. Real quick before we go,
yep.
Do either of these teams, the Jets or Giants, do either of them make the postseason?
If there's a postseason New York football team, it's going to be the Jets. If the Giants make it, I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I don't know if I'd be angry, because I'm like, well, you just lost a better draft pick than what you had before. Because what are you going to do in the playoffs, right?
That will kill your hope.
Right. You're assuming I have hope, bro. You're assuming I have hope.
No, that's fair. I did assume that. I did assume that you had hope. And you know what? Fantastic point. I assume you do not have hope now. Now I'm just going to take that and say that you do not have hope.
Oh, no. Hope's been gone.
Hope is gone?
Hope does not reside in this residence.
All right, well, hopefully that can get better for you. Everybody, that is Jeff Johnson. Check him out. Does a great job on TNT Sports. Also hosts Casual Fridays with Knicks Film School, voiceovers, NBA.com. This man is everywhere. Appreciate you coming through for the Rapid Rundown. See, I tried to be nice to you and not make that football segment too long, because I didn't want you to have to go into your pain too much.
Listen, when you said Rapid Rundown, I wanted you to be the Flash, okay? Go right by, zoom past the Giants, and then we go to the close. But, you know, I do it for the people, man. I give you what you need.
You did it for the people, for sure. Jeff, appreciate you, man. Got to have you back up here again. Appreciate everybody check Jeff out. We will see everybody next week on the New York Sports Rapid Rundown.